This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Another interesting one here from Ben. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about it. Any good ravishing Rick Rude stories?
Well, I've told the one about the lifting weights.
Yeah.
Asleep. That one pretty much made the rounds. And I've actually had a couple of guys go, I wasn't aware that that's what I was seeing, but now that you say it, I've seen that too. And I don't even remember it was who said that. Rude was one of those guys that, he was pretty quiet, to be honest with you, but very intense. He was very businesslike in his thought process and his dealings about the business. He got to the gym every day, no matter what. And obviously you can look at the end result, man, what a look he had. Incredible. And he had his routine. He had his way of getting that character over, and he stuck to it. And it was like Rick has been accused of doing a lot of the same moves during a match and having matches look similar. Rude's was the same way. But what everybody doesn't think about or understand is that's what people wanted to see him do.
Right.
So that's why they did them every night. And you would put them in, the key was to put them in different places and get into the setups differently. But he had that character figured out. He knew who Ravishing Rick Rude was. And he was, he kind of kept to himself. A lot of times Rude would travel alone, but he always enjoyed talking to him and getting his insight on stuff. Very friendly guy. Hell of an arm wrestler. I mean, really like a hell of an arm wrestler. I think he won a bunch of tournaments before he got in the business, arm wrestling tournaments, and a tough son of a bitch from what I hear. I never seen him knock anybody out other than Warrior. When I was with WWF, I happened to be in the town that night that happened. But other than that, I never saw him have a conflict or anything with the boys.
Dial 976 Cecil. That's a hell of a handle here. It says Bash at the Beach 96. You and Benoit face Sullivan and the Giant. It seems like Benoit and Sullivan were shooting on each other. After the match, Giant came out from the back and yelled, "What are you doing?" You reached for Sullivan, but he smacked you away. What can you tell us about this match?
That's another one of those deals where it's kind of like Brian Pillman and that
Sullivan thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You never knew what was what.
Right.
Part of it was a shoot. Part of it was a work. All of it was a shoot or all of it was work. And I never knew which. I really didn't. Pillman, I know, was nuts. But to the degree that he brought it to work with him, I could never figure it out. Even more so when I found out that the thing with Nancy and Benoit was legit, it complicated it even more for me. It was like I was caught in the middle of something that I should have known everything about, but I was kept in the dark on about 50% of it. And I didn't want to push it because I knew that this thing was legitimate. And then now you're talking about getting involved in a guy's personal business, which I've never done. Families are exempt. They're out of the discussion where the business is concerned. They're innocent. They're civilians. You don't get involved in a guy's personal life. So it was just one of those things that I didn't know, how much was these guys are knocking. I know this up close, they're knocking the piss out of each other.
Right.
That I know, I can attest to. And just as the fallout, if you tried to get in there just getting involved in their match, they'd knock the piss out of you too. So I learned that pretty quickly to keep my head low on that stuff. But that whole period was a jumbled up mess, and it had everybody confused.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.